Evening, friends. Lance here, Martinsville Ridge, and just out on a beautiful night with my oldest daughter, and we're looking at the pastures, looking at the diversity. So I'll just encourage you to take a walk with me. Here, we'll sit down even. Quite a nice smorgasbord of grasses, legumes, forbs. And I guess today's video, I should say tonight's, is about alfalfas in our pasture mixes. And so I'm pretty excited about this amount of alfalfa here. This was planted, I'd have to look, but right around 1.5 pounds or 2 pounds to the acre. And it was just your standard run-of-the-mill alfalfa. None of that root-resistant stuff and root rot-resistant stuff, but this is pretty nice. Different shades of alfalfa, goldenrod, Queen Anne's lace, some red clover. And so back to the topic at hand. This field has some history of some varying management, and so there's a 5-strand fence that it's hard to see, but here, let's see, the horses are right there. You can see the horses. So there's one that runs east-west. And then here's our north line fence up here. Kids call that the llama tree. So anyway, last year I grazed this with poly braid and step-ins north-south, and I would run basically 2 to 3 paddocks, cross fences, and they would only be, let's see, I think they were, well, irregardless, it was varying stock densities. When I started way down on that end, I was more like 30 to 50,000. Brought in another group of cows. By the time I was here, now you got to bear in mind I had rented the adjoining farm. There's a 40 that wraps around. That's all corn now this year. But by the time I brought the cows from all that rented land that was Syrah Rye, hairy vetch, brought them all the way down and started working them this way. I was here in I want to say the end of July, still on first swing, the first pass, and I literally, that would be a month ago, I was grazing this stuff right here, right? Some of it's almost shoulder high to me. And the idea was to stomp it. So I was fluctuating my densities from, I think I topped out, I tried a little bit around 100 or 125,000. And some of that's just by putting a front fence and then moving it, 20 feet or 50 feet with these long, narrow paddocks. So again, people say, well, man, looks like you got more alfalfa in here. Well, some could be from the latent seed bank, right? Look at all the seed coming here. But I think a lot of it also has to do with our management, right? I think there's about 12 different species in here. I showed you some. Here's some natural dewormer. My friend bird's foot, trefoil. So anyway, our management and changing it really can help certain species express, right? So I better walk back towards the truck. So again, this was flashed hard the end of July, first part of August, and then rested until fall, like to past freeze up, and then the cows were out here. We fed bales. Well, you can kind of see back where those cattle trailers are. You can see next year's bales, or I should say this fall and winter's bales. where they're going to be pre-placed out kind of behind the truck. But again, adaptive management, starting at one end of the farm last year, working our way this way. This year the cows are gone all completely. They moved out of here, I think it was the first week of May, and it's only been the equines that have been here. So again, just wanted to kind of share some contrasting management. Again, people say, well, what's this for? Oh, that's for lots of stuff. But I had my neighbors come in here and whack this all high, instead of the standard, you know, I asked them to do like 5-6 inches, because at that point we were looking dry. Thankfully we were blessed with a couple inches of rain about a week after we took this off. But really this has had a lot of rest, right? Especially this third of the farm. Those horses hardly ever get over here. And now that half of the farm is actually resting until probably freeze up, let it recover. So again, well, here you can see the horses have been in here just a touch on the grass. So again, there's a concept in the word. If you're a believer about the year of Jubilee, a friend of mine from Oklahoma has been talking to me quite a bit about that. Here's the year of Jubilee to a certain extent, right? Rest, recovery, regeneration. And that's partially why these little strips are in here. Because it was hard. It was hard for me to see all this going down flat. Oh, look at here, what do we got here? A glove. So I had the neighbor leave these strips late in seed bank, but also mowers going, nests get disturbed, but then the birds can relocate here and they have cover. And then there's a home for insects. Nice little forb. I don't even know what this is. Nice minty smell. So when I walk this, you wouldn't believe the amount of bird nests, because again, that's probably a topic for a different video, but we don't pour, and we want swallows. We want birds, meadowlarks. Saw my first bobolink. He was kind of towards that tree line this spring on this farm. So I want to provide habitat for them, because I don't want to have to treat cows for internal parasites and flies. I want to try to think differently. Here's another forb. So if I build habitat, they will come, right? Finches. Look at, what do you think bird seed is made out of? I don't know if it's that thistle, but they do have different thistles in bird seed mixes. So with that, food for thought about diversity in our pastures, varying stock densities, timing, rests. Yeah, we're gonna head back and grab a little supper and enjoy looks like it might be a nice sunset. So thanks everyone.